Welcome to Channel 5 News. I'm your host, Jack Thompson.
And I'm Russell Freeman.
Good evening, New York. We have many things to talk about. First off, we have a special interview straight from the basketball courts of Brooklyn. We have a senior correspondent on the case.
Thank you, Jeff. While our warriors are fighting their war across the Atlantic Ocean, our boys at home find basketball as their way of relieving stress and keeping their minds off the war. Joining me today is Steph Karai, a young man who comes here very often. So say hi.
Hi, my name is Steph Karai.
So how often do you come here, Steph?
About, a couple times every day.
So do you have any relatives who are currently in the war effort?
My uncle and dad, they went to go fight the war in North Africa. Just been really stressed at home, so I come here to ball.
So how many of you kids come out here every day?
About a few kids, 8 usually. Right now it's a little couple, probably stressed out at home.
So are these kids under the same circumstances as you? Do they have parents in the war?
Most likely, yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the war is keeping us all very stressed out, but these boys find it relieving to play a game of basketball every day. That's all from me.
Wasn't that interesting?
You betcha. In other news, we're in the war, people. The Nazi regime has taken over France and the rest of Western Europe. Our only ally there is England, and they desperately need our help.
Join the army, but if you can't, help at home by tuning into our radio and donating to your local army offices. And if you can, help our friends at Soldiers of the Press, detailing the escapades of our correspondents on the front line. And now, an interview with American novelist Ernest Hemingway. Alright, settle down. Now Ernest, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Of course. I was born on July 21st, 1899. I served in the Mexican Civil War. I also served in the First War. And I was wounded. Oh, and I recently got married to my beautiful wife, Mary Welsh.
Wow. Everyone give him a hand. Alright. Now tell me about one of your most famous books, For Whom the Bells Toll.
You see, this book was one of my favorites to write. It was about a young American man by the name of Robert Jordan, who was a part of an international brigade tasked to blow up a bridge in Terranova.
Oh, wow. My God. Now for my final question. What is your opinion on Nazi Germany?
Truth be told, I personally don't like the war. But if I wasn't injured, I'd punch Hitler in the jaw.
You heard it, folks.
Welcome to the first installment to our newest segment, Movies or Gas. So this weekend, I drove into our local drive-in and cinema, and I saw The Jungle Book. It was a pretty good movie. I even brought my girlie to watch it, and man, does she have the greatest gams. But remember, 10% of every ticket that's sold goes for buying food for the army.
Welcome back to Channel 5 News. I am your host, Trevor Stolinsky, filling in for Jack Thompson. We have another interview here for you tonight with a young man by the name of Gordon Johnson. He works in a nearby arms factory by the name of Blackgate, and he is currently working to help the war effort in the Pacific.
Thank you. I'd like to salute all those who are fighting the Japanese over in the Pacific.
Well, for my first question, how's it working in an arms factory during the wartime?
You know, it's really tiring because of the constant need for arms in the war, but it's great for the company, and what's great for the company is great for me.
Well, what do you think about the gals getting into the jobs alongside you? And more so, what do you think about the 8 million women that are being put in the workforce all over America?
I think that is great. You know, I've worked alongside my wife in Blackgate. We have such a great time helping our country.
And how about that new act enforced by Congress? I think it's called the War Labor Disputes Act.
You know, I think it's terrible that people would go on strikes during the wartime. I'm glad that our government is bypassing these traders and taking charge of our workers.
What do you think about what's happening in Sacramento, like those shipyards being turned into factories.
I think it's awesome because that means more people do even more work. With this amount of hard-working people in the workforce, it will help us end this war.
Well, there you have it, folks. Straight from one of the workers of our factories. Thank you for watching Channel 5 News. I've been your host, Trevor Stolinsky, and tune in next week for our daily news reports.